In the cooler months, I love to make duck ragu. It's rich, it's luxurious, and I'm going to serve it with a ravioli. Now, this ravioli is filled with porcini mushrooms. Porcini mushrooms and duck, well, they're synonymous with each other. They just work so well together. So this is going to be a really delicious dish. It's a dish that you would make on maybe a special occasion. So to start, we need to render the fat from the duck. I've only got 2 duck legs here. That's all you need to make a sauce for 4 people because it is quite rich. So in a pan, a saute pan like this, I'm going to add my duck. I haven't turned the heat on. We want to place our duck legs into our saute pan, skin side down. We'll turn the heat on. And then we're just going to allow this to gently come up to the heat. And by doing that, we're going to render the fat out of the skin. So we want to take as much fat out as possible because all we want is the meat at the end. A pinch of salt to the flesh side, along with some pepper. And while that's cooking, we'll get onto the mirepoix that we're going to cook this in. So mirepoix is a combination of onions, carrot and celery. And I'm also going to add some pancetta to it to give it a really nice meaty flavour. So 1 stick of celery, and I'm just going to cut it into big chunks like this. You can actually finely chop this with a knife, but if you want to speed it up, my little tip is place all of this in the food processor and blend it together, and it'll finely chop it within moments. So to this, we'll add our onion. Again, just roughly chopping it. Nice large onion for this. And do chop your vegetables into smaller bits. It's just going to make it much easier to blend so we've got an even chop throughout all of the vegetables. Now for our carrot, again, just cutting it into smaller pieces. In it goes. 3 cloves of garlic, I won't chop them. And then 50 grams of pancetta. Now it looks like just such a small bit, but a small bit goes a long way. And because it's a little tougher than the vegetables, I will chop this into a smaller die. And just that small amount is going to give it a really nice meaty flavour, a smoky flavour too. Okay, that's it. Lid goes on and I'm going to pulse it to start with and then give it a blend until it's finely chopped. And there you go. It's all done, ready to go, saving so much time. And look how finely chopped that is. That's what we're after. Perfect. All right, let's have a look at the duck. You can see how much fat has rendered away. I'm just going to turn that over. We want to seal it on the other side for another 3 to 4 minutes. Once that's golden on that side, I'm going to remove it, place it back onto the dish. I'll take away some of this fat. You just want about a tablespoon left in the saute pan, and then we can cook our vegetables. Now, I don't want too much colour on this. Cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes or until it's softened. Cooked down nicely, so we can add some wine, some white wine. This is a blonde ragu, so it's going to be a really pale coloured style stew. Now, when you're adding wine, you want it to come up to the boil, so we're cooking off that alcohol. Oh, that smells so good with the pancetta. To this, I'll add some sage. I just love sage in any type of stew, but in particular, it goes really nicely with the mushrooms from the ravioli and also our duck. So a good handful of that, just the leaves. I'll add some lemon, and I'm just going to add just a strip of the peel. It's much easier to get out later, and it's just going to perfume our stew or our ragu. And a pinch of chilli, just chilli flakes is fine, and 2 cups of stock. Now, this seems like quite a lot of stock, but this is going to cook for 45 minutes to an hour, so we get meltingly tender meat. So in with our gorgeous duck legs, and the lid goes on. And once this does come up to the boil, I will turn it down to a low heat, and like I said, it's going to cook for about an hour. It smells delicious in here. The duck is ready. I can smell the sage and that lemon peel that we've added. And you can see how much this is cooked down because the vegetables were chopped so finely. So we're going to remove our lovely duck legs out of the sauce. And by chopping the vegetables like that, we're going to get a really deep concentrated flavour. We'll also take the skin off. And this is my favourite part, just shredding the meat away. After cooking low and slow for that whole hour, this completely transforms, and you should only need 2 forks to just shred this duck. Oh, look at that, fantastic. And we want to discard all of the bones and all of that fat. Now, before I continue shredding this, let's cook our ravioli. It's going to take about 4 minutes to cook. This one's fantastic because it not only has the porcini mushrooms throughout it, it's also got a lovely Parmesan cheese. So it's perfectly seasoned. All we need to do is season our water, and it's just coming up to the boil now, and we're going to add our fresh pasta. This is actually made with a traditional family recipe, so you really taste the difference. So I'll add the whole packet, just separate them slightly, and while these are cooking, I'll continue shredding the duck and we'll just fold it through the sauce. The ragu is ready to go. You can see it's not too saucy, it's really rich, that's how I like to have it. And now for our pasta. So we'll turn that off, and just using a slotted spoon, I'm going to just fish out all of our porcini ravioli, and we'll just place it into the sauce. Now be quite delicate with it because we don't want to break them open. And we're just going to gently fold everything together. Oh, look at this. Now let's plate this up. 5 or 6 of these gorgeous ravioli per person, depending if you're serving this as a main or as an entree. For me, this is definitely a main style dish. And to finish it off, some freshly chopped parsley. Just break that up, scrunch that up, and just finely chop it. Sprinkle that over the top. And some fresh Parmesan cheese. And I'd serve that with maybe a glass of Pinot Noir. It's a fantastic dish, really showcasing porcini mushroom set in lovely pillows of ravioli and the duck. They're just a match made in heaven.